Have you heard about chia pudding? It's really popular these days, and there's a reason why. Chia seeds are a superfood. And one of the great things about chia seeds is they don't even have to be cooked. So it makes for quick and easy meal prep. I love using them for a nutritious breakfast or a great snack and healthy dessert. You really only need 2 main ingredients to make chia seed pudding. Of course, the chia seeds. I'm going to be using 1/3 cup and some type of milk. Here I have some nutritious almond milk, which is a rich source of protein, so it makes it an extra hearty pudding or snack. So this is basically 1.5 cups. Of course, if you're making it into a pudding rather than a breakfast, you might want to add some sweeteners. Here I have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, or you could use agave nectar, or if you want to make this keto, sugar-free, you can also use monk fruit or stevia instead. So to make 3 different delicious versions of these chia pudding parfaits, we're going to be making one with some pomegranate and a little apple blended with some frozen dragon fruit puree. This is about 3.5 ounces of frozen dragon fruit puree, 1 apple. I'm going to blend those together and then layer that with the chia pudding and put some pretty pomegranate seeds in between the layers. For an apple pie variation, you can use chunky applesauce. I made some homemade and I'll list the recipe and directions below. I also have some cinnamon, about a teaspoon of cinnamon and a few dashes of ground nutmeg, a teaspoon of vanilla, and some currants. And I'm also going to bake these walnuts. I have a good sized handful of walnuts, about 2/3 of a cup. I'm going to drizzle them with 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and a little sprinkle of sea salt and bake them at 350 for about 10 minutes until they're nice and caramelized. To make a peanut butter cup variation, I have 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and 2 tablespoons of, you can use either cocoa powder or I'm using carob powder. So to make our different variations on the chia pudding parfaits, I'm just going to make one big batch of pudding by adding the chia seeds, 1/3 cup, to the 1.5 cups of almond milk, and then just stir that together with a fork. And you do have to let this sit in the refrigerator overnight or 6 to 8 hours for it to really fully absorb all of the milk. Put this in a covered container and place it in the fridge overnight or 6 to 8 hours. To make the walnut topping, you're going to take your 2/3 cup of walnuts and your maple syrup and just drizzle that right over. And add your pinch of salt, or 2, or a little bit more. And pop this in the oven for about 10 minutes, stir it around, see if it needs to bake a few minutes more until it gets nice and kind of crunchy and caramelized. To make our dragon fruit chia pudding parfait, I'm going to take the 1 apple cut up, place it in a blender, and then add the dragon fruit. Blend these 2 ingredients together, adding a little splash of fruit juice or maple syrup if needed to just keep it moving. For our dragon fruit chia pudding parfait, we're going to put a spoonful of the dragon fruit puree, then a spoonful of the chia pudding, and then another layer of the dragon fruit, and just a little dollop of the chia pudding on the top, and pomegranate seeds as a garnish. For our peanut butter cup parfait, we're going to scoop out a couple tablespoons each of the chilled chia pudding. This has been in the refrigerator overnight, so you can see it's a nice thick consistency now. This is perfect. It's a little bit like tapioca pudding. So this is more like 3 tablespoons, almost close to a 1/2 cup of pudding in each bowl. Then I'm going to take my 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and mix it into one, and my 2 tablespoons of carob powder and mix it into the other one, and just mix it together until the peanut butter is completely incorporated. And if you need to add a touch more sweetener, just because the peanut butter has a stronger taste, feel free to add a little bit more maple syrup. Slightly chunky, fresh ground peanut butter, so you can even see little flecks of the peanuts in there, which is really nice. And now just blend together the carob powder, or if you're using cocoa powder, into the other one. And just like with the peanut butter one, if you need to add a touch more maple syrup or almond milk to get it nice and smooth, and back to that creamier pudding consistency, feel free. So now just layer your ingredients. A little spoonful of the carob or chocolate layer, then a layer of the peanut butter, another layer of the chocolate one, and one more peanut butter. For our remaining couple spoonfuls of the chia pudding, we're going to add our cinnamon and nutmeg and the vanilla. In case you were wondering, here are our toasted walnuts that have been caramelized with a little bit of maple syrup. They're nice and crunchy and caramelized now with that delicious maple flavor. So on the bottom of the jar, we're going to place a scoop of the chunky applesauce. A few little raisins on top of that. Spoonful of our chia pudding. Another spoonful. You want to get a nice even layer. Gonna break up a couple of these nice sticky, crunchy walnuts in there. Then I'm gonna do another layer of the chunky applesauce. This one, I have to admit, is almost more applesauce than chia pudding. The chia pudding becomes like a little garnish in there. But we're gonna top it off with another layer of the chia pudding, finishing with some currants and a walnut.
Hey, Mommy!
Hey, honey! So I hope you enjoyed learning about these chia pudding parfaits that you can take along for delicious desserts or snacks on the road, or just enjoy any time of the day. I happen to love all three of them. Let me know in the comments below which one is your personal favorite. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more delicious recipes. Thanks for watching!